Andre, we had heard that both you and Chris Paul were representing the Players Association yesterday when the Celtics and Raptors met to discuss their approach to tomorrow's game one of their series and what they might do going forward. Can you sort of give us your thoughts personally, as well as from the Players Association, on the external issues impacting the bubble and the type of decisions you feel need to be made, should be made, and will be made?
I mean, well, we're in a tough situation, mentally, just being here, understanding, it's a lot on our plates that I don't think is really being accounted for in terms of, the things that are happening within our communities across the country. And, our duties as basketball players to go out and win games and satisfy all those requirements as well. I mean, the grand scheme, what's the most important thing in terms of our livelihoods and what's happening to our people, and we're trying to be smart about it, strategic about it, bring awareness to it, helping with the change, understanding it's not going to help in one day, or it's not going to all happen in one day, but just doing our part and letting our communities know that we stand with them, that we're with them, and we're doing everything in our power to, whether it be using our platform, raising money, or making our own platforms. Just it's a myriad of things that I've been in discussions, not just this week or yesterday or 2 months ago, but this has been throughout generations of our culture and trying to bring about the justices our people deserve.
And then to follow up, obviously, you're also a teammate, a member of the Heat. Has your team discussed possibly boycotting games or sitting out games? And has there been a team discussion how the Heat inside that Disney bubble can make their voices heard and handle their reaction? Thank you.
I think that's the most beautiful thing about this entire situation, that guys have been able to express themselves. And, there was at one point a fear in how an athlete was able to express himself or his feelings. We've seen it and heard it very recently in terms of just shut up and dribble. And that's how we've been viewed, within the entertainment business, is just, go out, entertain, and reap the benefits of our talents, of our blessings. But, we've come to a point where we've said enough. Not only are we going to actually reap the benefits of our talent, but we realize the platforms that we've built for ourselves, and we realize the leverage that we've created for ourselves, and taking upon our responsibility, not just to monetize it, but also bring change or help bring change with what's been happening within our communities.
Tim Reynolds.
Hi, Andre. Thanks for doing this. We've been seeing for a month the Black Lives Matter messaging on the court. Of course, we've seen the messaging on the jerseys now for pretty much the entire time that you've been there. Are you worried that society may have gotten used to the messaging? Maybe it no longer, the kneeling as well before the anthems, of course. Are you worried that it doesn't have the same impact as it did at first? And does that have you thinking that additional action would need to be taken, sort of recapture attentions and sort of, use that platform even more?
Well, me personally, I think I have an understanding of, how we've evolved as humans, and with the technology that we're all accustomed to having within at our disposal at any time, and all the information that's there for us. The attention spans of humans have gone down, and that's something that I've been aware of since entering into that space, which is the tech space. So for me, it's just always building upon, building a strong foundation and continue to build out upon it. Understanding that a message that we're putting out, someone's going to try to cause disruption or cause hurdles with us trying to get to our goals. So we got to continue to build on top of ideas, and understanding that, it's become, Doc Rivers gave a great post-game speech on it. It's almost like a never-ending cycle of what can we continue to do. But that's just the spirit that we have within our communities, African Americans, is that we're going to continue the good fight. I spoke about before, I was never able to see roots as a kid. It wasn't provided by, my public school system where I'm from, but I was able to see it here, and which enabled me to see how each generation, it didn't get greatly better, but it was just incrementally better. And, any type of progress is progress. We can't be satisfied with it. We got to continue to shoot for the moon, and we got to teach that to the next generation, and so on and so forth. So, that's what we're out here trying to do.
Andre, that was my second question. You brought up Doc's speech last night. This is a man who's seen some stuff in his life, obviously. The fact that he was moved to tears openly after, it was a 45-point win last night, and it seemed totally irrelevant, probably as it should have seemed to him. Did you watch it live, or when did you become aware of what Doc said, and just what did you think of the totality of his remarks?
Well, I didn't see it live, but obviously, within our community, when we have these powerful messages, with the power of technology, you can get access to it, split seconds. So, spread across, different platforms of communications from friends and family. Was able to, read a little bit about it and see small clips of it, and just hearing, we've heard it from him before, just how heartbroken he has been, and he's come from, a player's position, playing in the 80s and 90s, all the way to, a coaching position, different vantage points from whether you're a teenager, and seeing everything that's going on in this country, and you thought at some point there would be some type of progress, and then, it seems like every other week, it continues to go on. You're broken down at times, and when an athlete has a bad game, or an athlete has a bad reaction within the game, we're so quick to say, he's paid all this money, or he's got all this wealth, why can't he control his emotions? People don't quite understand what goes into, something may throw you off, and this should throw you off. I commend a lot of the African-American athletes who've been able to help hold their composure, go out there and still be able to play. It's very tough, the thoughts running through your mind. I didn't even find out about, the Wisconsin situation until a walkthrough and Spo brought it up. I hadn't turned on the news, and, I hadn't been on social media, so I was unaware of it. And then at the same time, it makes me think, what am I here for? That I'm missing out on what's happening within my community, because that's something that I should, know right away. But it's just so many things going on, and there's just sometimes the power of the machine, in terms of the entertainment machine, can get the best of you, and keep you away from where your mind should be. And you hear about a lot of top players that opted out. That's a prime example right there. So we just trying to make the most of the situation, and I take it as using this platform, coming here and playing the bubble, one of the largest platforms in the world, where we get the most eyes, and be able to get our messages out there. Whether it gets drowned out after a short period of time, you come up with another idea, and you just keep pushing and try to spread the message.
Christos Saltas from Greece.
Hello, Andre. Two questions. First of all, we saw both players of Celtics and the Heat express their thoughts to leave the bubble, to push the situation about Jacob Blake and boycott the game. Do you see any same thoughts about from your teammates to leave the bubble here in Orlando? And one more question: which were your thoughts when you saw the video of Jacob Blake?
On the second question, I still haven't been able to get through it. I saw the initial part where Mr. Blake was walking, and he opened the door to his car, and you kind of know you can assume what's going to happen after that. So I haven't been able to get through it. It's coming to a point where we're being desensitized with the senseless murders of our people, and for me, is the more you see it, the more you get comfortable with it. Where I think we're at a point where you appreciate the technologies out there that should be holding those who are at fault or who are guilty of their actions, should be holding them accountable. That's where it comes into voting the right district attorneys, putting them in the right people in a place to hold those who are wrong accountable for their actions, and making sure that you're coming down on them the same way NBA players fined or his contract is taken, for any felonies, which is in their contracts. It's a very interesting thing. And then to your first question in terms of guys leaving the bubble, we haven't spoken about it openly, but I think there's plenty of guys who've had their thoughts. You always have your days where it's not a good day. I've had days where it's like, you're missing your family, senseless acts of violence towards your people that still happening. But like I said before, you got to commend a lot of athletes being able to balance and being able to commit to this platform, and why we're here playing, and a large reason of why we're playing is to use the platform to get our message out there, to show that there is a lot of these problems. You talk about what happened in the 60s with the violence against African Americans in the South, and it wasn't really addressed until the footage was shown across the globe, and other countries were able to see what was going on in America, and they weren't this great place that we like for everyone to have the perception of us, and that there was systematic oppression, and that's when government came in, and you send the troops down there to try to settle the tension. So it's just been an ongoing thing within the country, and it's something that you got to continue to put light on the darkness and the evil things that are happening.
David from La Gazzetta dello Sport, Italy.
Hey, Andre, what do you think boycotting the game would do to help deliver your message?
Well, I don't think that's been something that's agreed upon. When you have things like this happening, there are a lot of ideas thrown out there, and you have consequences and you have repercussions on any decision you make, that's just as a human being. So, guys feel a way about something because they want to take a stand, but at the same time, you're understanding the consequences that are behind it. So you're just weighing your options. And that's like, I don't know if I completed the thought in terms of, that's the beautiful thing about, the players not being afraid to speak their minds. It's just, you just get sick of it. And when you talk about boycotting a game, everyone's antennas goes up, and now everyone wants to pay attention. It's sad, but you have to make threats like that. I shouldn't say threats, but you have to be willing to sacrifice a paycheck or sacrifice, corporate money for people to realize that it's a big problem going on out there, and we need to pay more attention to it. We got to continue to address it. We can't drown out, the peaceful message that we have been putting out there on the platform as well. You see, they don't show the kneeling of the anthem. They don't even show the anthem anymore. And it's like, you're going to take away something that's peaceful, and you wonder why people are going out and doing some of the things that they're doing to show that, this is something that's terrible that continues to happen and no one's being held accountable.